You know that feeling?
Yeah.
When you glance around your place and it feels, well, less like home and more like a storage unit. For memories, yeah, but also just a lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Boxes maybe tucked away, closets just bursting. It happens to so many of us.
Right. And it's like the things we own, they almost start to own us back a little. And sometimes you just crave, I don't know, simplicity, more space.
Exactly. And that desire, it often goes, deeper than just wanting a tidy house. It's about a need for clarity, maybe control.
Yeah.
When your space feels cluttered, it often mirrors feeling overwhelmed inside too.
That's so true. And that's actually exactly what we want to dig into in this deep dive. We're not just talking like a quick tidy up.
No.
We're getting into the whole process, downsizing, decluttering, especially when you're dealing with things that hold, a lifetime of memories.
Think of it as a journey, really, towards a more intentional way of living.
Yeah, I like that. And our main source material here is the Downsizing Masterclass.
Right. And what's great about this masterclass is how much it focuses on the emotional side of things. It gets that letting go is hard because of the connections we form with our possessions. It's not just about making physical space.
It's about curating a life, almost.
That's a good way to put it. Curating a life that fits you now.
Okay. So
Nice.
our goal today, let's pull out the practical steps, the key ideas from this masterclass. Give everyone listening some, real tools and maybe a better handle on how to approach this whole thing with hopefully a bit more ease.
And purpose, yeah.
Yep.
Moving beyond just the how to maybe understand the why behind our attachments.
Perfect. So let's dive into that first big one,
Yeah.
the emotional connection. That's usually the biggest hurdle, isn't it?
It really is. Our homes, they just naturally become these repositories, like time capsules of our lives.
Yeah.
Think about a faded photo you find or a handmade gift or even furniture that's been passed down. These aren't just things. They're anchors, really, to moments, people, chapters of our lives.
Right. Like
Yeah.
that old concert ticket stub. It's not just paper. It's, that feeling, the music, the whole night.
Exactly.
So throwing it out can feel like you're dismissing the memory itself.
That's a perfect example. And there's this psychological thing, the endowment effect. We tend to value things more just because we own them.
Oh.
And that feeling gets even stronger when the items are tied up in our personal stories. Letting go feels like a real loss then.
That makes so much sense. Our identity gets tangled up in our belongings somehow.
It does.
Which brings Marie Kondo to mind, the whole spark joy idea. It's a nice concept. Does it spark joy? Keep it or thank it and let it go. But when you're looking at decades of stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe it doesn't spark joy, but it sparks nostalgia or obligation or just that what if I need it feeling,
Yeah.
then spark joy feels a bit simplistic, maybe.
You fit on something really important there. Spark joy is a good starting filter for sure, but for a lifetime's worth, you need a more nuanced approach. You have to balance that gut feeling with, well, the item's actual story in your life and its relevance now, and for the future you want.
Right. Sometimes it's not about joy, but about significance.
Right.
Like representing a key moment or person.
Exactly. That needs a different kind of thought process.
Okay, so how do we actually start, practically speaking? The masterclass, it lays out some actual steps, right? Like, how do we begin?
It does. It really stresses starting with assessment and planning. Like, really look at your space. Be honest about how much stuff there is.
Okay, the honest look. Got it.
Then define your goals. Why are you downsizing? Moving? Just want more peace at home? Knowing your why is crucial. It guides your decisions later.
Makes sense. Knowing the destination helps with the journey. That comes the sorting, which I imagine feels like the Mount Everest for most people.
It can feel huge, yeah. That's why the masterclass suggests a structured method, like the 4-box method.
I've heard of that.
You literally get 4 boxes or areas, label them, keep, donate, sell, and discard. It gives you a clear action for every single item you pick up.
I like that. It imposes some order on the chaos.
Yeah.
So you pick something up and you have to decide which box.
Right.
But what questions should we be asking ourselves then to make that decision?
The masterclass boils it down to 2 main things. 1, does this still serve a practical purpose in my life?
Okay.
And 2, does it hold significant emotional value or represent a cherished memory?
Value or memory. Got it.
If the answer to both is clearly no, then it's probably heading for donate or discard. If it serves a purpose but has no real emotional tie, well, is that purpose still relevant or are you actually using it?
Good point. What about the flip side? Things overflowing with sentimental value, but totally impractical now. Like,
Right.
okay, a box of every single birthday card I ever got.
Ah, yes. This is where preserving memories without keeping the physical object is key. The masterclass talks a lot about this.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
for your cards example, maybe pick out a few truly special ones, the ones with amazing messages or from key people. For the rest, digitize them, take photos. You keep the sentiment, the memory trigger, but lose the physical bulk.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Thank
You
you.
can even add a little note to the photo file, like why it was special. It's curating, like you said.
Exactly. Curating, not just accumulating.
What about things that are more tactile, like old baby clothes or a worn-out blanket, things you want to touch?
Yeah, the masterclass covers those too. For fabrics like that with strong emotional ties, get creative. Maybe turn them into a memory quilt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then you keep the essence, the feel, but in something useful and comforting. It's part of your life, not hidden in a box.
That is such a lovely idea.
Yeah.
Transforming the value. Okay, now, the really hard part for many, actually letting the stuff go. How do we do that without feeling like we're ditching part of ourselves or erasing the past?
The key insight here, which the masterclass really pushes, is to actively reframe how you think about memories and objects.
Okay.
Your memories, your experiences, the love from relationships, they live in you, in your mind, your heart, not solely in the physical thing.
So the object is a trigger, not the container.
Precisely. It can spark the memory, but it doesn't hold it. Letting go of the trigger doesn't erase the memory itself.
That's actually really helpful to think about. So it's less about loss, more about making space.
Exactly. Making space for new experiences, new memories. And the masterclass suggests engaging with the memories before you let go.
How so?
Maybe take time to reflect on the stories, share them with family. If an item might mean something to someone else, consider passing it on directly.
I like that.
You could even have a small family gathering, share stories, let people choose items that resonate. It honors the past and gives the items a new life.
That feels much more intentional than just a donation drop-off.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've decluttered, what's next? How do we stop the tide of stuff from just flowing back in?
Right. The final stage, which is ongoing, really is creating your new space with intention. The masterclass highlights designing your home to support your current life.
Yeah.
Maybe that means multifunctional furniture, smart storage solutions, being really mindful about what comes in.
Being proactive. Now, you mentioned experts earlier. We touched on Marie Kondo, but Peter Walsh, what's his perspective that the masterclass includes?
Peter Walsh really focuses on the psychological side. He talked a lot about how physical clutter creates mental clutter.
Yeah, I feel that.
It leads to stress, feeling overwhelmed. So for him, organizing isn't just about a tidy house. It's about creating a more functional, peaceful mental space so you can live better.
That totally resonates. A clear space often means a clearer head for me. Now, the masterclass also had some surprising facts, stats.
It did. One that really stands out is that the average American home apparently has over 300,000 items inside.
300,000, wow.
Yeah. And what's crazier, we only regularly use about 20% of them.
Oh my gosh. That just shows how much we acquire and
Yeah.
don't use. What about money? Any financial angle?
Absolutely. The masterclass points out that downsizing, especially to a smaller place, can cut household expenses by up to 30%.
30%. How?
Lower utilities, maybe lower property taxes, less maintenance, it all adds up.
So it's good for the mind, the soul, and the wallet, potentially.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Emotions, steps, insights. What are some really concrete, actionable tips listeners can take away right now?
Okay, several good ones from the masterclass. First, set small, specific goals. Don't try to do the whole garage at once. Maybe just one shelf, one drawer.
Baby steps.
Hmm.
Keeps it from feeling overwhelming. Good. What else?
Limit your sorting sessions, maybe 2-3 hours max. Decision fatigue is real. You make bad choices when you're tired and drained.
Totally. You don't want to start chucking things out of desperation.
Exactly. Another great one, the one in, one out rule. Once you're decluttered, for every new thing that comes in, something similar has to go out.
Oh, I like that. Keeps you mindful,
Yeah.
sustainable. What about getting others involved? Family.
The masterclass definitely suggests considering involving family, especially for shared spaces or sentimental items. They can help physically, but also it's a chance to share stories, reminisce together.
Makes it more meaningful. And probably keeps you accountable too, for sure. Also, celebrate your progress, even small wins. Acknowledge the effort. It keeps motivation up.
Good reminder, positive reinforcement. Any slightly more outside-the-box ideas?
Well, if you're really stuck, the masterclass mentions maybe hiring a professional organizer. They offer objective help and systems.
Could be worth it for some.
And for getting rid of valuable stuff you don't want, think about a virtual estate sale or using online selling platforms. Give items a new home, maybe make a little cash.
Those are some practical options. Okay, so as we wrap this deep dive up, what's the big takeaway, the core message from the Downsizing Masterclass about all this?
I think the main thing is that downsizing is so much more than just tidying. It's a really personal process. It's about intentionally creating a life with more clarity, more purpose. By choosing what you keep, carefully, consciously, you're not just making physical space, you're making space in your life for what really matters. Relationships, experiences, well-being.
We're curating your life, like we said before.
Exactly. Curating a life that feels meaningful and, importantly, manageable.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. Less about what you lose, more about what you gain. So for everyone listening, what part of this discussion, clicked for you? Which step feels like maybe the place to start? Could be just one drawer. Think about what action you might take. And maybe just consider that feeling of lightness that could come from starting. And bigger picture. What do you really want to make space for in your life? What new experiences, what sense of purpose could fill that space you create? Definitely something worth thinking more